Let's continue this conversation right now. I want to bring in Matthew Whiz Buckley. He's a Navy Top Gun graduate, FA-18 Hornet fighter pilot, and founder of the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. First of all, I want to say good morning to you, Matthew, and thank you so much for your service to our country.
Thank you, Fanchon. I appreciate it. Good being with you.
You know, President Trump slamming Putin, you just heard it, that after Moscow launched that huge aerial strike in Ukraine. What is it going to take for us to helpfully and hopefully negotiate an end to this war?
Fanchon, it's an absolute horror. I mean, I remember studying World War I, and back then they called that the war to end all wars. Why? Trench warfare, just absolute horror. And here we are over 100 years later, same thing going on in Eastern Europe. Young men on both sides being turned into hair, teeth, and eyeballs. For what? On this Memorial Day, we're reminded, at least here in the United States, of what an absolute horror war is. So maybe we're getting close to peace, because on the Russian side and even the Ukrainian side, we're seeing a lot more strikes and a flurry of activity, maybe to try and seize a better bargaining position. But this just makes my heart weep to see all this death and destruction. And I think the president is getting there. He was trying to use a little bit of a carrot with Putin at the beginning. Now it sounds like he might be bringing the stick.
Yeah, well, we will pray that he does in the end get there, because like you said, so many young people are dying. Of course, this is Memorial Day. It's a somber day as we honor and remember our fallen military members, but it's also a day that we celebrate the sacrifice that they made, why they made that sacrifice, this being the only country where we have the freedoms that we have. As a pilot, as a service member yourself, what does today mean for you and so many other veterans?
Fanchon, on Memorial Day, I'm always reminded of the quote from General George S. Patton. He said, it would be foolish and wrong to mourn the men and women who died. We should thank God that they lived. So all the folks that I lost in flying fighters for 15 years, I lost 16 brothers and a sister. And then along the way, 4 F-18 brothers to suicide. Not a single one of those people would want you sad today or moping around. They'd want you to enjoy today, enjoy your 3-day weekend, and because they died to protect those freedoms.
Yeah.
But as part of the living, I'm going to ask that you do pause and take a little bit of time to reflect. And Fanchon, in my current mission as the founder of the No Fallen Heroes Foundation, we're here to help pick up the pieces. 22 on average, maybe even as high as 44 veterans take their lives in this country. Since 9/11, we lost 7,057 in combat. We've lost over 150,000 to suicide. So as we try and win wars overseas, we're kind of losing the war at home with our veterans.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of special ops guys, and they just talk about how difficult it is to go over and do what they do, what so many of you do, and then to come back and try and assimilate back into normal life. It is deeply, deeply disturbing, the struggles that they face. We're looking right now at Arlington National Cemetery. It's always a beautiful, picturesque ceremony and a day as we think about our fallen soldiers, our men and women. But you know, Matthew, we also have to think about the families, because as you said, it affects the families, it affects the wives, it affects the children, it affects so many that move multiple times because of their commitment to their husbands or their wives. How important is it that we don't forget the families on a day like this, especially the children who have lost a parent?
It's absolutely critical. Sadly, under the Biden administration, they removed the sign from the VA, but I was at VA headquarters 3 weeks ago meeting with Secretary Collins to actually talk about psychedelic-assisted therapy for veterans and their families. They put the sign back up there, that, and I'm paraphrasing, it says something about taking care of the widows and the children who have borne the ultimate sacrifice. These folks, these Gold Star moms, dads, husbands, wives, and children need our utmost respect and prayers. And here at the No Fallen Heroes Foundation, we're actually putting the ladder down to help these folks heal. The University of Texas, the Dell School of Medicine, actually has a psychedelic branch, and they are doing a psilocybin study with Gold Star wives and moms on long-term grief. And I have a buddy who's very close to the study, and he says, Whiz, you're going to be blown away by the healing that you hear about when we finally publish our study. So we can never forget the families left behind. And I
Yeah.
promise I won't.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for what you do through the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. If people want information quickly, how can they get that information on your foundation?
Just head to nofallenheroes.com, fans. On the top right, if you're a veteran, first responder, or family member who needs a healing grant, just click on the top right to apply for a grant.
All right. Well, we so appreciate the context. Yes, we honor, we mourn, we grieve, but we also celebrate, because if not for so many of those men and women, we would not be able to celebrate and live with the freedoms that we live with today. So thank you,
Amen.
all the servicemen and women. Thank
Thank you, Fanchen. God bless.
God bless you.